Hey, we're recording.
You're going already? Didn't turn off the fan.
No, I didn't.
Oh, turn it off.
All right. That's our startup bong. You getting it there? Hey.
Oh, we got air conditioning again, just in time.
Well, we had air conditioning. We just had a couple mobile units because I'm one of those handy dandy guys that
You are.
knows about industry. And so when your air conditioner goes down and the parts that they make for it are out of stock because of supply chains and distributions and all that kind of stuff, got to know where to go.
Yeah.
Here's your, oh, you don't want it in there. Here, I'm making cold brew. Whoa.
Cold brew butter.
Cheers. That doesn't clink.
It won't. It's all about the
That's what
effects.
happens when you have insulated glasses.
So I did think of a topic to talk about the other day, and I'm like, as usual, I'm like, I'll remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember.
Did I mention we have our native root cold brew butter coffee?
You're starting to mention it.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because this is the Jon and Tara podcast in the morning with coffee and cats.
Yep.
Thank Jerry Seinfeld for the coffee and cars phrase.
Yeah, the comedians in cars.
Yeah, we do coffee and cats.
Yeah.
Comedians in cars getting coffee. Mm-hmm.
That was.
We're non-comedians at home with cats and coffee.
Well, we think we might think each other is funny, but.
Well, you just laughed. I wasn't even trying to make a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's naturally funny. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm. It's like, you're a natural blonde. You're naturally funny.
So I was out in the woods the other day mountain biking, and I broke a chain.
The chain, not just a chain.
Well, the only chain I had. Yeah. Dang it. Now I'm going to have to carry a chain or two with me.
Well,
Not in the woods, but in the car.
Do you think that, because you got the higher power battery bike last year, do you think there's a lot of torque on the chain?
My stock chain had some defects, so I ordered more of the stock chain, which is built for the bike.
Yeah.
And they gave me a chain to get me by, and that was the problem.
And the chains you can't find are the actual chains for that bike.
I have 2 stock chains on order, and now I'm going to have to go get another standby chain. I'm going to get a couple, and then I'll get some extra links. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it had one of those little slide-on. I didn't put the chain on, and I didn't check it, which was silly. But if it had a slide-on link, that's probably the problem. Most of them now have the link has a post and an open slot, the real good chain. So you put a post through and it locks on both sides, and they have a little slip link that locks, not like a slide on split link. So this one's a captured, just a hole with a slight slot. So once you get it on, you slide it in place. And anyway, they're much better, but I didn't have the good top of the line chain on there. So yeah, but it only happened when I was going up a hill, so that wasn't bad. The worst place that can happen is when you're powering down into a corner or something, and if it breaks and you're going fast and your feet are moving and then there's no resistance on the pedals,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like picking up an empty carton of milk and you think it's full.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Well.
So no problems happened.
You had a nice walk in the woods, sounds like.
Yeah.
Kind of better than even being on a tar trail or I don't know if chains really break when you're riding bike on the road, but.
Mostly only under power. They can, but not as often, that's for sure. The walk out of the woods took me 16 minutes, which is a long time up and down hills with mosquitoes. And for some odd reason, the mosquitoes call all their friends. It's like, hey, dude, just tell I was talking to a mosquito on my arm. Mm-hmm. There's actually 2 of them on my arm, and I'm like, hey, Stop telling your friends. It's okay.
Keep it to yourself.
I'll let the two of you suck my blood. Stop telling your friends, you know.
Yeah.
And then I had to I was doing kind of a half speed walk, half jog, because I had to stay ahead of the mosquitoes, and I don't know how fast they fly, maybe like 2 miles an hour or something.
Yeah.
So you got to go 3 or better. And uphills is hard. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was my first ride of the season, actually. So I'm not in the best cardio shape, and my legs are not in the best shape. So I felt it.
Yeah.
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 But mosquitoes are a good motivator.
Yeah.
Everybody should just, if you got to move fast, there should be maybe some mosquitoes, maybe some slow hornets or something.
Slow hornets.
Yeah, they're not slow.
Well, we're wrapping up. We're coming to the end of our first building project. And
The sauna?
oh no, I mean like
Oh.
indoor, I mean I should say renovation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Had a bathroom done.
Yep.
Put in a soaking tub. Yeah.
I guess it was a complete renovation, like technically. The floor had, ironically, I was telling a friend about this the other day. I said, the whole upstairs of our place is reinforced to be able to like handle machines and like heavy weight, except for this tiny corner where we wanted to put in a bathtub.
Yeah. Well, for guys, yeah, we have reinforced rafters, 2-foot floor joists, and we spaced them half as much as they would need to be, so we could reinforce. And then we have a steel beam in the floor with two beams, 2 posts under the beam. The beam would be fine by itself, but we put 2 posts in. And then where we put the tub was just a little deck over the stairwell coming up. And so that had to be doubly reinforced. And then we put stud hangers on every stud in there. We pulled out all the studs and put hangers on every single one, and then doubled up the floor studs there. Those were 2x6s. So now it's really strong and can handle the weight of the tub. But yeah, the one place we wanted to put it, it wasn't strong enough.
Yes, it's like, and it's like 1/1000th of, maybe not 1/1000th of this square footage that would make this place actually really huge.
Maybe 1/800th.
Yeah, something like that. Just actually the size of the space of a bathtub.
Yeah.
That's the corner. Oh man.
But it worked out. It was right next to the other drain for the sink and the toilet, and it was right in a good spot.
Well, we wanted to do it as efficiently as possible, so we weren't like expanding the room. We weren't.
No, we fit the tub in the room. I left about a 1/2 inch in between the wall.
Yeah, I wanted to get as deep a tub as we could in that space, and I think we did great. I've only a couple times filled it up really high.
Yeah.
So.
We filled it up too much and then got in it, and then it was high.
No, because I'll fill it part of the way, and then I get in, and then I fill it more. Yeah. And I don't want to
overfill.
Well, I don't want to use so much water if I don't really absolutely have to.
Yeah.
So that turned out great. I say complete renovation because we did walls, floor. We didn't do the ceiling.
Didn't need to be done.
No. We could put a different lighting fixture that would.
Well, we put a different vanity in. We didn't replace the toilet. That didn't need to be replaced.
Well, we chose not to, even though it doesn't match the white of the tub. But yeah, I guess for me it was like it's so slightly different.
Yeah, I guess I don't do colors unless you ask me. So
the last step is the painter's going to come in because that reinforcement they had to take out the ceiling. It messed up some of the walls, the corners of the wall for the ceiling, so it needed to be painted anyway. So we're going to test out a color and get an area painted that I've really long wanted painted, so I can brighten it up in here.
Well, good.
Hey, and so we made it through.
So what else is going on? This podcast is really getting interesting.
Well, I thought it'd be interesting. Well, I guess I was going off of Marital Arts, so we did decide to change the name from Marital Arts because we were getting feedback from people that were like, did you listen? We talk about that in this episode of Marital Arts. And they're like, well, I'm not married, so it doesn't really pertain. And we're like, well, it does. It's about relationships and business.
Yeah.
So we decided
Well, Marital Arts it's a great topic, and since we own the name, we'll keep using it for our book. But I think that I think the book will have to be focused in that direction. But I think that we will most definitely just keep it general. So Jon and Tara Bachman podcast.
Yeah. So we can talk about whatevs.
Yeah. Coffee and cats.
Coffee and cats. Yeah. Maybe someday, and cavies.
Oh man. So let's talk about that. That's a good topic.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
husbands and wives,
rung the
or boyfriends and girlfriends, or roommates,
Could be
or
roommates.
whoever, right?
Yep.
Couples, significants, whatever you want to call people that are together. And then somebody wants a dog. And
I've been entertaining it. There's a part of me.
you
that
put
wants-
money down on a dog
I
at
did.
one point without telling me.
Well, I wasn't certainly going to bring one home with. I wanted to get on the list. So, it's
So what is my problem? Okay, you need to ask me that. What's your problem with a dog?
John. What's your problem with a dog?
Which one? With a dog, okay. There is a lot of issues because, we like to go do things and go places, and a lot of times we're even just traveling within the state. We're just gone the other day for 6 or 7 hours, and I know people say, oh yeah, just put your dog in a crate, it'll be fine. But I don't think the modern day way that people take care of their dogs is the best way to do it. I think I grew up with dogs outside, and I know lots of people are going to freak out and be like, oh, that's cruel. No, not at all. In the winter they get a much thicker, heavier coat. They're naturally they're animals. They're supposed to be outside.
And you're talking about a little Chihuahua, right?
Well, Chihuahua is supposed to live in Mexico where it's hot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it's like people in California that have huskies,
Yeah.
The husky's supposed to be in Alaska because they sleep outside, get snowed on, and then you stick your head out the door and call them, and 7 heads pop up out of the snow. And they're just fine.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah. So, I just saw a video the other day of somebody who literally they live in a hot state, and they have the whole bottom of their refrigerator is open, and the dog is in the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, in an air-conditioned house. So I think people really have to be very aware of what they're doing. And so, can you bring a dog? Yeah, you can take a dog with you almost everywhere you go nowadays. We go places, people have them in restaurants, and no shoes, no service, but your dog can be here,
Yeah, there are definitely a lot more places where, like, out on the patio. Not like when we went to Colorado that one year, and it was just like everywhere you could have a dog. It was pretty
I'm
common there.
I've thought about it a lot too, and dogs need to have a purpose to me. Like you said, well, what kind of dog would you get?
Well, mine would have a purpose of warming my lap.
Is it so it's your physical support dog?
No, I don't need an emotional support dog.
Or your heating support dog, or your...
It's just the awe factor. Yeah. No, I know. I have the same concerns as far as like time. That's a big thing, is because in general in life, I don't like to be restricted. I don't like a schedule. Like if I have appointments on my schedule, which are necessary, especially in my stage of business, I need to meet with people. And it's not that I don't like meeting with them. Mm-hmm. It's I don't like having a schedule.
Okay,
and
so what would you do if you got a dog? Now you do online moderation, you do online meetings, you do things like that. What would you do if you got a dog that would not stop barking no matter what?
That would be a serious issue.
You would end up having to put the dog in the basement, in another room,
Yeah, I've thought about that. And this is a great, honest conversation. So I've thought about, okay, first of all, I just love the King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. It's spaniel. They're just adorable, great temperament, demeanor. I mentioned this to a groomer, a professional groomer, and he said, yeah, that's a great transition dog from a person who's just had cats. I mean, we had dogs for a short time growing up, and I've been around dogs, so it's not like totally new. But he's like, yeah, that's a great transition animal, dog. And so one of the reasons, another plus is that I thought, okay, great. It is a breed that is just calm for the most part, likes to just snuggle with you. It's little, so it doesn't need, I love walking, but it doesn't need like long walks. So if it's winter, it could be like, okay, let's go, and like go for a short walk and it's enough. But I thought, okay, if I need a pet sitter, we've called on your parents. Like when we're gone, they'll check in on the kitties. And I thought, okay, I can bring the dog over to your parents.
We'd come back and your dog would have no eyes because of their cat.
Then I thought of that. I'm like, well, yeah, that's an issue because they have a cat that's very territorial.
Yeah.
I think would have an issue. So okay, dang it, that's that's only become an issue like in the last year. That's become more apparent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I could turn it off.
All right. So, my backup plan there kind of fizzled out in a sense because I don't think a dog would be so welcome because of their cat. Although that breed would be great with older people, because most dogs are like underfoot, hyper.
So are you getting a dog for my parents then? Is that the idea?
No. So that is an issue, because originally when I was thinking about this, I mean, I've thought about this for over a decade,
I know, you don't stop thinking about it.
Well, I do, but it just comes up again occasionally. And so yes, if I'm doing a podcast.
I think it goes like this. I think you have a cat, you have a relationship,
Yeah.
right? And at some point your cat is going to pass, she's older and we know that. And I think you should go a year to 2 years without an animal. Because it's like people relationships, right? You shouldn't just go from one person to the next. Otherwise you get caught in a cycle. And it's like the first dog you see is going to be like, oh, that way, yeah, But I think that people need to step back, and you also need to metaphysically match, right? Mm-hmm. There is how you matched with your cat, right? And when we went and we both got a cat that day, I wasn't planning on getting a cat because we did have a cat previous, and that was my cat for 18 years. Mm-hmm. And then we got together, so she was with us for, 2 years? Three maybe almost.
Something like that.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah. And then you came home one day and she was dragging her rear legs and she had some sort of issue, and we ended up having to put her to sleep, and that was really, really, really rough because literally she had been with me for 18 years, and that's a heck of a long time.
Yeah.
And she had catitude. She was a real, she liked me only. She tolerated my son, but she didn't really play with him that much or want to do much with him. But she liked you. And so that was really good. You passed the test.
Yeah, the ultimate test.
So anyway, she after she passed, it was probably good 4 months, 5 months that we went and we were looking at the local shelter. Mm-hmm. And wasn't it in a trailer house? Mm-hmm. And it was just floor to ceiling cages.
Yeah, it's just stacked.
Yeah.
And all cats.
All cats.
Yeah.
And, man. And you found your cat, and then was it my cat that took my hat off? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cleo, mm-hmm. the cat I took that day, reached out and grabbed my hat and pulled my hat off my head. And there was a major connection between you and your cat and me and Cleo. And then Cleo died.
Year and a half, 2 years
Year and a
later.
half of a blood disease.
Yeah.
And, then I said, that's enough for me. Mm-hmm. Because that was tough too, mm-hmm. And, And then we found Maggie, and there was a massive connection there.
Well, we didn't just find Maggie.
You found her online.
Yeah.
And you, for some odd reason, were attracted to her. And you were like, we should go see this kitty for you. And I was like, nope. And it was, for several days, I was like, nope, 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 nope. And you wouldn't let it go. And so finally we went, and there was there was probably 5 or 6 animals in that apartment. Mm-hmm. It was a lawyer, a gal who was going to law school, and she had just graduated, so she was fostering all these animals, and she had to adopt them out.
Right.
Or get them out, for lack of a better term, right?
Right.
And so we went and we saw Maggie, and when we walked in, all the other animals left the room.
Yeah.
The lady didn't say anything. You know how when you walk in a place, animals are all like, "Oh, who's there? Who's this?"
Yeah, they usually all come.
They want to smell you. They want to look at you. They want to maybe rub up on you, or the dogs will jump and want to put their paws up on your legs, or depending on how tall they are. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be petted. None of that happened. Mm-hmm. We walked in, and every animal left, and Maggie sat down in the middle of the room. Mm-hmm. It was like, what's that dogs? Is it All Dogs Go to Heaven, or is it whatever movie it is when they're like, "Hey, you're humans here."
Yeah.
It was ridiculously crazy. Mm-hmm. And then when we finally agreed to get her, you went down and got the cat carrier and brought it up and opened the door, just put it on the floor, and she walked right into the cat carrier.
Yeah.
And the gal...
No exaggerating. I mean, we're kind of going over this quickly.
Yeah.
But it's like literally Jon was kind of playing with Maggie, and her name wasn't Maggie at that point. But,
no.
And it's just like, they clicked.
But the gal was like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah.
All the animals left the room.
Yes. First of all, that was the first amazing moment.
Yeah, she was like, what just happened? She's like, and she was like, obviously this is your cat. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I didn't notice all of that at first. It was kind of like, okay, this lady, she's trying to sell me this cat now,
Yeah.
Oh, this is your cat.
That's exactly what the Humane Society does these days.
Right.
We've got 2 more. You can get 3 for the price of 2.
Yeah. But she was amazed from the moment we walked in, because she was living with all these animals.
Right.
And when Maggie went into the cat carrier, she threw her arms up and she goes, "I have never been able to get that cat in a carrier. That cat has never been to the vet. Mm-hmm. I can't get it in a carrier." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "That is your cat. Yeah. That is your cat. There's no way. I don't even believe." She was just freaking out.
Yeah. She literally, Maggie just walked in, turned around, did the cute little kitty paws, and just sat there facing out.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the check, and we were chatting more. Maggie came out.
Well, I told her we're not leaving yet. Mm-hmm. I just was talking to her. I said, "Why don't you come back out?" And she came out. Yeah. A little slowly. I think she was nervous, like, "Are you going to leave me here?" But she got it. And then when we went to leave, I said, "All right, get in the carrier. We're going to go home." And she walked right in the carrier, did the same thing. And the lady was just like, with her hands on her cheeks, like, "Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this." Yeah. So I wonder if she tells the story.
I wonder too. Wouldn't it be awesome to, like, if she heard this and be like, "Yep, because it sounds incredible." And even me, sometimes you can exaggerate a little bit.
You think I embellish?
You embellish a bit sometimes, but this is like...
I did meet you at the Miss America pageant. You were runner-up.
Right. I was at least runner-up, yeah. Well, you don't want to go with the queen.
Well, that's the only reason you went out with me, because you were a runner-up. You were like, well, my career's over here.
Yeah, Yep, age 18, that dream's out the window.
Yeah.
So
Miss Teen USA.
So I even asked you, like, no, slow down. We need to, like, emphasize this, because that's really what happened. Yeah. It was just amazing. And so, she was meant to be, and, ever since has been just...
Yeah, it was cray-mazing. It was really, really...
Jon, was it cray-mazing?
It was odd, and then the more we think about it, because, like, it was just flowing. Like, it wasn't... You set the cat carrier down and just opened the cage and then sat on the couch. You weren't like, "Okay, kitty, get in." Mm-hmm. You were just prepping it, you know,
Yeah.
because you probably thought, okay, John's going to have to grab this cat and then we're going to have to get it in the cage, right? And that type of thing, because that's usually what you have to do with cats. They don't just
walk
not
in.
apt to just walk into a cat carrier and
Right.
sequester themselves, you know?
Yeah.
But she did. And the more you think about it, it's like, wow, it is a very, very incredible story of, you know, a pet, an animal finding a human, or a human finding an animal, and you found her. And it's like there was a connection before we even got there.
Yeah, I saw something it was her profile photo. And
Did you swipe right on that one, Tara?
Yeah, totally. I think they only had 2 photos, and I wish I had them still, but she was just a scraggly little thing.
Scrawny.
Yeah, she's
skinny.
She has long fur, but it was, she had this, what really stood out is she had the stripe down her nose. She still does. But I call it her racing stripe, and you're a former racer, and I'm like, wow, they are meant to be because of this racing stripe. And then they had a photo of her kind of in the distance, maybe like 6 feet away from the camera, and she's just kind of just like perky, kind of like, hey, you know, what are we doing? And you know, you can just kind of tell character by body posture as well. And so she just seemed like a good match. And actually that afternoon it was new to me, because since we had last gotten an animal, it was always just, you know, you go to the Humane Society, you know, you go. To me, that was all that I knew at that point. I guess I knew that there were breeders too, but that wasn't in my purview. I wasn't thinking of doing that. We would do that. So when someone said that that they're fostering animals nowadays, I was like, well, that's different. And then someone was like, oh, well, we'll bring the animal to you. You know, and I was like, well, that's really different, but okay.
Yeah, because they've gone to such a degree where they want to actually see the environment the animal's going to live in.
Well, I think
which
they've
is
done,
a little bit odd.
but with well, maybe they had a house that they didn't want you to visit, and
Yeah,
but
sure.
with fostering as well, I think they're doing a better job of acclimating the animal, so they're not just in a trailer
a stranger
home
takes
with,
them and then they don't know where they are.
Yeah, or they're in an environment where they're just in a cage a good portion of their, all day.
Yeah.
At that one that we went to, and behavior training and so forth. So
There are a lot of problems with animals in cages, though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, your cat had a major problem. She liked to be confined to small spaces because that's where she grew up.
Well, she couldn't even jump up on the bed. She would jump to the side of the bed and then climb up.
Yeah.
And because she hadn't obviously been jumping.
She hadn't been out of the cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in support of how they're typically fostering animals these days.
Yeah, just let them live in a normal house.
Yeah. And so this lady was going to bring over this kitten, and I was like, okay, well that's different, but all right. And she didn't show up. And so that's the night that we went to see Maggie. I'm like, well, I guess we're supposed to go to Minneapolis. And
Yeah.
and I think that was another part of the story, how things unveiled, let's say. So, yes, we've been cat people the whole time that we've been married, and even before, we were both cat people.
My last dog, I think my son was 4 or 5, maybe a little bit older when I had my last dog. And that dog got ran over by a UPS truck because he was trying to stop another dog that was coming from the other side of the road to chase the truck, and he would chase the truck down to the stop sign and then turn around and come back. It was his daily fun.
Yeah.
Right? We could never stop him. He wouldn't listen. He was a beagle mixed with a Rottweiler. I mean, imagine that. So he thought he was really big and he knew he was really smart. And so he was incredible in every other way except for that dang truck. We couldn't stop him from chasing it, and he'd have to be inside, And he was running, barking at the rear wheels, and he saw a dog coming from the other side of the road, and he went right in front of the rear wheels and got squished, and had internal damage, and that was it. So, but yeah, that was tough. But most of those, he came from Humane Society. And those animals, usually, there might be some behavior problems, but usually they're a little bit more calm and tame, and because they seem like grateful that they got a good home to go to, you know. And that was the way Dexter was. That was my dog, and then Maggie, she's that way too. She's very polite and very kind, and you know, she doesn't she's not irritating.
Yeah, she's really good with her claws. Both our kitties have all their claws, and she's just
incredible with her claws.
Yeah.
You could play with her on a sheet, and if her claw touches your skin, she retracts it.
It's so intimidating, though. I mean,
she's super fast.
She's really fast, and she's thicker nowadays. She's really muscular.
Yeah.
And you know how cats will do that pounce, and then they'll, like, push pounce?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And she's all about it, too.
Yeah. And she already has big eyes, and then her eyes just get huge.
Open up and turn black. Yeah. It's hilarious how they turn into kittens with certain things, you know.
Yeah.
They just all of a sudden they could be acting old, like, oh man, I just want to sleep here, and then something gets them, and they're like, oh. Obviously, it's instinctual reactions to getting prey, going after what they would normally hunt, which is fun.
Well, we're at just over 30 minutes. We're going to try to keep this one short this morning.
All right, well then that's it for Cats and Coffee.
That's it for
We got
cats.
a lot more cat stories, but
Well, maybe next time. Not cavies yet, not coffee, cats, and cavies.
that's a lot. It's a lot of caffeine.
It was funny though. You found a video and you're like, if you had a dog, this would be your dog, and it was actually a cavy mix.
The guy was walking two dogs, and it was a cavy cocker mix. And the cavy cocker was taking 2 steps and then jumping in the air, taking 2 steps and jumping in the air. Like, it was so excited, but it did it the whole way the guy was walking. It was like, and I joked with you and I said, if you get a dog, this is what your dog is going to be like.
It could be worse.
Need a spring-loaded leash. So when it jumps, it doesn't pull on your arm. Like, ugh. You saw the guy. The dog would jump, his arm would go up.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
No, obviously I haven't pulled the trigger. You know, when we discussed that, not doing that to my kitty, who's very possessive over my lap and me. And so I'm not going to surprise you with a dog. I'm not going to
that won't work. That's not good.
And I do seriously, when it comes up, it's not like by any means constant.
And you have to be careful who you talk to, because there are people that we know that would buy you a dog and just show up with a dog and give it to you.
I don't know. A cavy is pretty expensive.
Yeah, I know, but you got to be careful.
That would just be...
Because you got to choose your own dog.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying you're going to get a dog. I'm not saying you're not. I'm not saying... I don't control your life, Tara.
No, I do consider a lot. Like, I did exactly think last night, okay, we were gone from 5:30 to 9:30. Okay, 4 hours, you know, even a small dog can...
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You just dehydrate them and don't feed them, and they won't have to go pee or poo. And
Yeah. You know, all that...
Well, like I was saying, just to finish this out, we had hunting dogs growing up, and they were most definitely outdoor dogs.
Yeah.
Labs. And they were strong, and they were rowdy, and they were, you know, they listened very well, but they were all go. You know, you'd walk outside, and they would just jump inside. They had kennels that were 7 feet tall. You know, they were open on the top, and then they had dog houses that were very nice. They were insulated. They had an entryway with a 90-degree angle, so wind couldn't blow in. You know, my dad was very, very aware and very conscious of what he did with them, because they were very valuable. You know, and you know, they were taken care of very well. But they were definitely outdoor dogs. You know, slobbery and they had, in the summer, they had big water tanks in their kennel, and they'd just lay in, on a hot day, they'd lay in the water and get out and shake, and jump and splash sometimes, and and then we took him out every single day, because you have to clean the kennel and do all that, and yeah, that's a dog is in my mind, a dog is a major responsibility. I know people nowadays treat them like kids, they just, and you'll see people with 3 kids and a dog, or 2 dogs, 3 kids and 2 dogs,
Yeah.
It's like, holy cow,
Yep.
So.
Well, so those are the highlights. Coffee and cats.
Coffee and cats and
no dogs.
Potentially cavies.
Wow, we even got that far.
Well, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm just talking, I'm not saying.
Well, we did have a day dog for a little while. Okay, one more add-on.
One more animal story?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of your guys has a dog.
Yep.
And he was at home during the day, the dog was, while
Yep.
they were at work. And when storms would come, he'd have a fit, which is not uncommon. But then I think
He's
the
really,
dog.
really afraid of thunder.
Yeah. And I think even without storms, he was starting to destroy the house or do.
He was doing some stuff. Like they put a camera in and he'd be sitting on top of the printer looking out the window and kind of like a cat would, except this is a big dog.
Yeah, he's got to be like 65,
Yeah,
70
so
pounds
he was
at least.
jumping up on the computer desk and then jumping up on the printer and then, yeah, so.
So you allowed him to bring the dog
Yep.
to the shop?
He asked, is it okay if I bring him in? I said, absolutely. I said, that'll be good. I said, we'll get a little dog time and have our day dog, and then we don't have to take care of a dog at night, and we don't have to, I took him out for walks and stuff like that, but, or to outside,
Yeah.
But, you don't have that midnight run.
Mm-hmm.
Take them out to go to the bathroom at midnight and then they disappear into the darkness, or you got to have a leash on them and then you got to walk out in the yard and wait until they go. And it's just, and then we live in Minnesota and there's winter,
Yeah.
and I know the dogs, they go 6 feet out and then they pee, or they pee right on the step, and that's always fun. Frozen dog pee on the step when you come out in the morning. Put down that ice melt and then you smell the dog pee. Is there anything I could say else to dissuade you from having have a dog?
I do think pretty realistically about those things.
Because if you have to have a dog, I will take the dog out 1 time for your 6 times. So
Okay.
that means, because I love you.
Yeah.
But it's like a child. It's like, if you're gonna get this dog, you're gonna take care of it. You're gonna.
That's like a child.
Well, that's what you say to a kid, right?
Oh, it's like, I thought.
Yeah. No, I was saying that to you.
Uh-huh. I get it. I thought you meant it's like having a child. And
You're
it's
gonna
like,
have to pick ticks. You're gonna have to clip nails. You're gonna have to teach.
Yeah.
Teach manners, behaviors.
Definitely not tolerate a bed. Well, I was looking at a certain. Well, anyways, I won't go into that. All right. That's
People are gonna think I'm just an anti-dog tyrant. I've had people say, I don't trust someone that doesn't like a dog, and I'm like, it's not that I don't like dogs. It's like, I want to take off whenever I want to take off, and I don't want to have to. If we can't take a dog to a mountain bike park if we're going out all day long, because you can't leave them in the car because everybody will shoot you nowadays,
Yeah.
Well, I broke your window because you left your dog in the car, and not that I would leave a dog in a hot car, but geez.
Right.
Yeah, if the dog is dying, that's one thing, but.
Right. So the closing remarks is John is not a tyrant.
No, I'd leave my car running with the air conditioner on.
Yep. I know you would. How you treat your kitty?
Yeah,
Definitely.
totally. No, I wouldn't subject the dog to any problems,
Right. No, our day dog even gets lots of treats and toys and.
Well, his mom, my coworker's wife, she's home for the summer because she's a teacher, so I don't get to see the dog now, and I got 5 packages of treats that got delivered sitting on my desk.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go over and visit him and bring some treats.
Remember me?
It's not that I don't like dogs. It's just the amount of work and stuff you got to do, and
Yeah.
everybody with a dog will be like, "Oh, they're fine for 8 hours. You can leave them," and I'm like, "Oh, geez." Not. Maybe they put down their puppy pads or whatever they call them so they can pee and poop on a puppy pad or whatever. Some people would sequester them in the kitchen area or something with a fence or whatever. But you got to watch those videos of what dogs do when you're gone.
Well, apparently it's the Huskies. Getting back to the Huskies, they are clever
The
and
Huskies,
funny.
like, I watched this video of Huskies putting pillows back on the couch because they heard the owner open the garage door.
Wow.
And then they're on the floor. They had gotten on the couch and they were like pushing pillows and stuff, and then they were just laying on the couch. The owner came home and they literally picked up the pillows, put them on the couch, and then laid on the floor.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So obviously the owner has seen it enough, like, these pillows are a little bit out of order.
Somebody was on the couch.
Yeah.
Well, hair and all that.
Yeah.
Dog might be smart, but it's not picking up hair.
Yeah, that would be the next level.
Yeah.
Get out the
Get out the
roller.
little sticky roller. Yeah, they're not that smart.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So no Huskies.
So
for
this
sure.
isn't cats and coffees. This is cats, coffees, and canines.
Yes.
Coffee, cats, and canines.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Well, we probably didn't talk about enough stuff for it to be super entertaining, but
I don't
it
know.
was entertaining for me.
Good. That's good enough.
And we got to not really talk through the issue, but at least we brought it up.
Well, we're on the same page. I'm very concerned about all the things that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And really,
Well, there's, it goes to greater discussion of marital arts. There's a lot of things that people want. There's a lot of things you might want to do. But you consider your situation, your environment, your spouse, your kids, your family, whatever, right? And I want to start an OnlyFans page, but I don't want my family to see me doing naked stuff on the internet.
okay. I don't know. We might have to have a business talk about this, though.
Well, you want to know how much money you think I could make?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're going to pimp me out? What's going on? My lady pimp.
Yeah, but we probably need to get you a dog so you look like and then grow a beard a bit, is like the thing, or different outfits.
I
We'll
can't
just
do
like
naked
different-
stuff on the internet with a dog sitting there. That's kind of weird.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There could be a picture of my dog in the background, but
Okay. But, all right. Well, next time we'll talk about your dog, the dog that you
okay.
like.
Well, okay. Then there'll be a part two
part
to this.
two
All right.
to coffee, cats, and canines.
All right. So
part
this
two.
is part one.
So we know that Tara likes, that's me, King Charles
Is that you?
Cavalier Spaniels. And the only thing is, I am very hesitant also because they have been typically overbred and there are certain genetic issues. So that is something to be very aware of as well if getting a purebred. And I know
I think about that too. Guys talk about that with women. The purebred women are, they got hip issues and stuff. You want to get yourself a mutt.
Yeah. But then there's...
Check your 23andMe, guys.
Right. I actually had a breeder that I contacted, brought that up, basically that most people are breeding and don't look into the genetic issues.
Right.
But there's behavior issues too. You got to look at the parents and how they're raised. They're total corollaries.
Well, maybe we'll do this later. If I had met your parents first, I probably wouldn't have dated you.
That'll be Coffee, Cats, and Canines Part 3. Training.
No, what? Training for what?
Training.
Family?
Just like how it relates to the human dynamic.
Oh, so that would be coffee,
We can work on that.
coffee and cousins. So got to be a C word.
So far, it's had to be.
All right.
So that's good enough for now.
There you go.
Otherwise,
got
we're
any
just-
questions or comments or ideas? Find a way to contact us.
Yeah.
On social media and send us a question.
It's in limbo. So.
Yeah. I'm Jon Backlund on everything. JONBAKLUND.
And I'm Tara Backlund on most things.
Yeah.
TARA BAKLUND.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, we have pretty unique
LinkedIn,
names, so that helps.
Everywhere.
All right. Adios.
Later.